Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, and this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand. To be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become. In being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle. Which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello and welcome everyone to the 262nd One Nation, One Planet, excuse me, One Race for World Peace and Justice here on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name's Rick Crammond. I'll be a host today. And we have several co-hosts, and Mark being one of them. Thank you, Mark. And we are ready to present today's workshop with members of the Universal Council who will be presenting the workshop. Hello, members of the Universal Council. Are you ready to begin?
Yes, thank you, Rick. This is Marie. I'm a Universal Council member for the Norwegian language. And yes, so welcome everyone to the One Nation, One Planet, One Race for Justice and World Peace. And I want to talk about what happened on Sunday. On Sunday, we were all knowledge seekers, every soul were invited to dining with the Creator. And it was very interesting. And I know that not everyone was present in the meeting, but it's in a way for everyone. So in this broadcast, we will share some testimonies later on. But as an introduction, I want to read what Mr. Keshe said about this meeting in the before the meeting in the latest Knowledge Seekers Workshop on Thursday, which is Knowledge Seekers Workshop 473. So the process of the Sunday dining with the Creator for the first time will be using a condition system which creates within its center the soul of the creation. It has taken our team years of understanding and months and weeks of preparation. When you eat with the Creator, you eat from the soul of the creation. Now man might understand what gift they are given. And if knowledgeable knowledge seekers know how to manipulate the fields of this system, the way it's created from the soul of the man to the soul of the planet, or the soul of the Creator, man shall see the soul of the Creator of himself, which is his own soul. Those of you who got go through the experience with us on Sunday, you will come out totally as different person in the dimension of the soul. And how that knowledge will be transferred in the energies of the food of the knowledge and not the food of the physicality, then we will see who shall be enlightened. One of the most sophisticated systems ever created by man to create the condition of the interaction of the soul will be on display and work on Sunday. Just a moment here. I wonder how many of you will come with the satisfaction of dining with the soul of the Creator, and how many of you will come still expecting to taste the banana which we put in there to see how you pass the test for your own soul and not for us. You're dining with your Creator, with your soul, in a dimension of the fields of the universe. And if you are sincere enough, you don't need to look up to see the Creator, but you will see the Creator within you. Then we shall see. Then we understand the next process in the dimension of the creation. Then we come to see how us, as being our part of the totality, which we have ignored about our own creation. Peace on those who understand the beauty of the gifts of the Creator and no more. Now you understand. Now you should be able to push the limitation of the knowledge beyond this. We have shown you the first step. It's for you to go up the ladder of the knowledge. So that was what Mr. Keshe said. He talked about this meeting in several workshops, but this was from the latest one. And it was an amazing experience. I'm not going to give a testimony, but I can say that it was an amazing experience. And it's about learning how to feed yourself on the fields of the universe. So it's important for us to go up this ladder of knowledge. So thank you for that. Maybe we go to the next slide, Rick. Yes, in this slide, the title is not relevant to this text. I'm sorry about that. This is a text from the Knowledge Seekers Workshop 471, which we found very interesting in the Universal Council. This is Mr. Keshe speaking. I hope you understand how we are leading you to the world peace through your own actions as the leaders and not those we think we see in the world of physical dimension leaders. Now you understand what we are heading for. To those of you knowledge seekers who have been with us and you travel to these dimensions are those, if you understand collectively, will seed the seed of the peace in the soul of the world leaders of today in the coming time. In a way, collectively, you bring that essence of knowledge of the teachings of the Keshe Foundation, creation of world peace, not by talk, but now in the dimensions of the fields of the universe, by seeding it, by planting it, and nourishing it within the soul of the world leaders of today. So that is pretty relevant for the time we live in on planet Earth. So if we go to the next slide, we made a wish for this, which are kind of responding to this text. We, the Universal Council, wish for the knowledge seekers collectively to bring the essence of the knowledge of the teachings of Keshe Foundation, not by talk, but in the dimensions of the fields of the universe, seeding the seed of peace in the souls of the world leaders. I'm present.
We are present. My dear Rick, we can, yes, the wish, so wishful, so beautiful. Welcome, beautiful souls. This is the wish of all of us. So we give from our soul to the soul of humanity to receive the universal soul transfer of energy, as many need the comfort of the knowledge in the clarity of peace and love. We are present. Thank you. Yes, here is the 1 minute of silence, my dear beautiful souls, for the elevation of all souls in existence. In this silence, we talk, we elevate, we share more love with each other. So, in this beauty and totality, we start this 1 minute of silence, and this starts from now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being present with your heart and soul. Beautiful souls, my dear. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute. And this elevation is going on. So thank you so much. Now we can move to the next slide. I mean, presentation. Yes, here is from Brazil. There is a video, my dear Rick. A video from Brazil.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's a testimony from a priest who used the plasma technology to comfort a dying soul, or not a dying soul, maybe a dying person, because the soul never dies.
Para fazer um resumo da história para vocês, né? Um padre entrou em contato com a gente e ele começou a fazer o copo da vida. Inclusive ele organizou várias conferências na região dele, em volta da região dele, que está acontecendo durante essa semana. Uma buscadora de conhecimento está lá ajudando. A gente queria agradecer a todo o trabalho que ela tem feito, que está sendo muito importante, como a gente tinha anunciado sexta-feira passada sobre isso. E é um trabalho bem importante, a gente está começando a fazer isso chegar às comunidades, principalmente comunidades também mais carentes, eles ficarem autossuficientes com a tecnologia e começarem a se ajudarem cada vez mais. E eles estão bem abertos e, como a gente falou também na última entrevista no TV Galáctica, a gente percebe isso desse grupo, que eles têm essa abertura para a tecnologia, mas não só isso, eles já estão, desde o início, conectados muito com eles, que eles estão ali para ajudar, eles estão entrando em contato com líderes comunitários, com outras pessoas também, oficiais também, estão presentes nessas conferências, então eles estão com essa conexão a nível de etos muito grande, junto com a Fundação Keshe, pretende e trabalha também. Então isso é muito legal. E esse padre, ele mandou um relato para a gente que ele teve com o copo da vida. Foi um relato muito forte, muito bonito, que ele compartilhou com a gente, do uso dele com o copo da vida, que a gente gostaria de compartilhar agora aqui.
Partilhando experiência. Às 22 horas de hoje, do dia 4 de maio de 2021, recebi uma chamada telefônica para ungir um doente em fase terminal, com câncer alastrando por toda a parte interna do aparelho digestivo. O hospital devolveu para casa, não tendo mais o que fazer, pois não tinha oxigênio disponível, não achando mais veia e não podendo mais alimentar. Ele, 81 anos, mora apenas com a esposa de 82 anos. Um casal jovem, há 2 semanas, viraram à noite para socorrer nas crises constantes em ânsia por falta de ar e para fazer a limpeza depois das necessidades fisiológicas. Fiz a unção e após a unção fiquei tão angustiado com a situação que me lembrei da água plasmada. Voltei para casa, agitei a água com um plasma, peguei 1 litro em uma jarra de vidro e levei. Fiz massagem nos pés usando a água, gotejando nos lábios e gotejando no umbigo. Depois de 45 minutos, o casal se emocionou por ver a crise ser abrandada. A temperatura dos pés, que era um gelo, deu uma elevada. Pulso sumido apareceu timidamente. E aconteceu uma mudança no ritmo da respiração, facilitando o repouso. Demos um pouco de água para a esposa idosa, que está sem dormir há várias noites, e também sem se alimentar. O paciente terminal, que estava a se debater por falta de oxigênio e fragilizado por não poder se alimentar, nem com soro e nem por via oral, teve 15 horas de vida mais serena e teve a oportunidade de ter alguns momentos de sono e a cada momento foi acolhendo uma paz, até que chegou ao último suspiro de forma digna e serena, graças à unção dos enfermos que tranquilizou a alma e à água de plasma que lhe proporcionou energia vital para poder decidir a viagem para a plenitude de paz eterna. A tecnologia que entra como auxílio para viver e para morrer com dignidade, por um buscador de conhecimento.
Então agora a gente vai compartilhar o áudio que o padre compartilhou com a gente depois de compartilhar também essa experiência.
Interessante que eu, católico, o Senhor tinha a religiosidade dele, assim, mais dentro de casa, no mundo dele, porém, não envolvido no mundo católico, nem evangélico, mas um pouco neutro, mas com a sua mística, né, porque tinha alguns elementos em casa que apontavam ao seu fator religioso. E a esposa também. Mas é interessante que nesse momento mais difícil, onde a medicina nada podia fazer, eles recorreram ao sacerdote. O casal que estava lá cuidando 24 horas, evangélicos. E é impressionante porque a experiência foi vivenciada por todos. E todos, nesse momento, esqueceram de que religião fazia parte e presenciaram o que aconteceu lá e ficaram assim encantados, maravilhados, e acabaram ali compartilhando com os vizinhos, que também é uma rua onde também há uma mistura, né, de crenças. E nesse momento, assim, foi uma energia só, o pessoal indo para casa, na rua. Eu cheguei lá justamente na hora da morte. Eu fui ontem, passei o tempo inteiro, uma parte da noite lá, fui hoje de manhã, e hoje, depois do almoço, quando eu fui lá, cheguei exatamente na hora da morte. E o clima era de serenidade, de paz, um clima que era de desespero, de transtorno. E aí o assunto era esse, sabe? A forma de como as coisas foram revertidas e todo mundo foi unânime, sabe? Foi uma coisa muito gostosa. Tanto que eu saí logo do ambiente, porque eu não atribuo isso a mim, eu atribuo a Deus que age na pessoa dos homens, que agiu no sacramento, que agiu nessa tecnologia, é um conjunto, que agiu no casal que estava ali também a velar, né, que agiu na pessoa que me chamou. Eu penso que é a ação de Deus. Então, para não atribuir os créditos a mim, eu até saí do ambiente para que as pessoas pudessem perceber a ação de Deus e a ação dos instrumentos, dos canais que Deus usou, né? Então, assim, foi uma coisa muito gostosa. Aí eu sentei aqui na poltrona, meditando, acolhendo tudo isso, sabe, como graça, em plena véspera de curso, né, aqui em Catuti, justamente no dia que a Luciene chegou no norte de Minas, está lá em Janaúba, na minha terra natal. Aí eu falei, tudo concorre para o bem dos que amam a Deus.
Bom, esse foi o relato do padre. Queria agradecer também ao padre por toda a abertura também que ele está tendo, ele e a comunidade dele com a tecnologia, que a gente sabe, a gente está acompanhando, e pelo relato, compartilhar essa bela história com a gente, né? Como a gente pode ver, não é só na fisicalidade, mas como o padre estava falando comigo depois também, como ele ficou impressionado, como isso também age de fato na alma do homem, a tecnologia. Estava falando com uma freira também, amiga dele, que também testemunhou isso, e ela estava relatando a mesma coisa também. E a beleza dessa tecnologia é isso, como ela vai muito além do que a gente imagina. Não é só questão de salvar a fisicalidade.
Beautiful testimonial, beautiful, beautiful, so beautiful. And here I will say, yes, many, many thanks to my Master Shriman M.T. Keshe. And then I will say that these beauties are coming out, you know, a priest, a religious man, and the beauty the man shared, well, whatever I can say that in his last moment on planet Earth, but the soul was so live, what he was saying. And this is real, you know, as we are communicating, elevating, even giving water, the purest of water, the water of love to all. And many, many people, religious people who were in this religious, deep in religious aspect, they came out and they are realizing, even they are far away from us, but they are realizing that humanity needs this backup of beauty, the backup of peace. That is the most important thing. And if we elevate, if we give the water, if they want, then, or they need, then this beauty comes out, this joy, so much joy given by this man who said, who physically he was suffering, but then in this beauty of heart and soul, he was saying something else. He was ready for the joy. This is the beauty, in this, the emotional, the matter state acts like a storm sometimes. And when you live in this position of love, you can create this joy. You can create this joy and depleting every energy. You don't need any more. This sometimes creates a sadness or painful, but the joy comes out from within. Oh, so believe. We say like that. Oh, so calmness, so beauty, like that, So here, the whole world is coming out like that, as all of us as soul being are sharing each other, communicating with each other in a way never communicated. This communication has done this before. So I will say, hold your position of love, understand the giving. And as the priest who has given this testimonial on behalf of the gentleman, that is the beauty. It never came before. The sweetness, the peacefulness of this soul. We can understand that. The joy we can understand. Even maybe he will leave this planet, but then we will go with him. Like that, he will always with him as he shared the beauty. And this makes us so happy, and I can feel that from inside. Many of us can feel that. And these testimonials are outstanding, and this is so soulful. And this has happened with me also many times, as some religious person was listening to me, and when I was talking to him, he told me that, yes, I have this mantra for peace, Shanti. Can you take this? I said, yes, of course. I will chant someday on behalf of you. He said he was a professor from Banaras. He graduated from Banaras Hindu University. But still he listened to me. That is the most important thing. He listened to me. Still he messages me, how are you going on? Like that, And this is the way we are doing our services, giving love, receiving love. So this is the beautiful testimony. And what I can say, we love you all. Forever. That is the way we do. So holding the position of love we all have, blessings to him, what he has said, that is the beauty. Sometimes people go from here and they keep you in sadness. But this person has given this beauty, this joy, this peace. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute. Now, thank you. Anybody else want to say anything?
I would like to add another testimonial. You are all familiar with clothing made in Bangladesh. And, especially in the West, and I think a lot of places in the world, you can find them. So, these are usually made by women. And there are no men who are involved in making these things. So, as it happens, some of them came to know about this plasma technology that I'm using to help people. And so few of them came and with their health problems of various sorts. This ranges from small to big and everything. And so, one by one they came, and it started to get around in the place they work and among their friends. So they come with all sorts of problems. And in a way, I have to, in these cases, of course, I know a few things from plasma technology and I have talked about this before. So in this case, I use combination of many different style of plasma technology. Sometimes I use direct soul level healing. Sometimes I use pads. Sometimes I give them water. Sometimes they do breathing. Sometimes we go through some sort of emotional healing for a while before we do something else. So, the number is increasing, and as we have heard in the beginning, Marie talked about accessing one's own ability to get to things. Often these situations are very, what you call, you don't hear about these things, but one has to talk to them. And sometimes, as I mentioned to them, that most of the diseases are from within us. It takes sometimes quite a bit of time before this idea sinks in. So, it's happening and they're benefiting from it. And as the results are coming in, as we know, we are a science organization, it's, there can be any number of theories of soul or whatever, but unless we have tangible results, whether we are applying souls or water, it has to be tangible. So, and these are not, what do you call it, educated part of the society or well-to-do part of the society. And some of these women who have been through the process, they are explaining to others, things, they get confused. Sometimes when they come to me, they get confused about what I said. And, all the diseases are from within, and most of them. So anyway, and things range from, like, so many of our health problems are relationship related. It can be with our parents, our children, our spouses, and it is very common. And there are cases of, inoculation that happened or vaccination that happened. I have found cases of having childbirth problem because of some initiative to, immunize children about 15 years back. And in a certain village, none of the girls are having babies. So we are starting some projects in terms of, like, specifically, I mean, to those who are involved in kind of talking about it to other women. So what they're doing is that I'm kind of assigning specific persons that we will do this type of women. First, we start with one, like, for example, the one who they have been vaccinated 15 years back. So they're having, childbirth problems. So how do we go about doing it? And so it requires talking about the emotional state and how some of these vaccination alters our immune system, our emotional state. So in a way, it's not just healing them, it's part of the education that they're getting, is that there exists a science that can be used, and we can ourselves learn how to use it. It's a gentle process, it will take its time, but it's getting around. So I'm getting a little busy with this kind of thing, but there is a, we talk about giving, and then there is this element of satisfaction once you see somebody you helped with healing. Like specifically, there's one woman who is very active. Her problem started in her arm, which was a pain, and it's not just pain, but something else like shaking and other things. After this current crop of vaccination, and so she got healed, and it took 3 days for her to recover. And she's talking a lot about it and bringing patients of every kind. I mean, and there are a lot of problems that happen in women because of relationship, mistreatment when they were children by parents, sometimes even friends of the family. And there may not be any physical trauma, but so you have to kind of get to all of these very gently and carefully. But the interesting thing is that they are absorbing it. And I get the satisfaction when I see one of these women is helping others to understand the science or understand how one can go about doing it. Of course, it's not what the doctors say. And explaining vaccination, for example, that there are things in vaccination that can affect, although it's, so it will get around because these women each come from different villages, and and some of these, I mean, of course they have relatives in the villages. So I sometimes talk to them over the phone and try to diagnose them from, not diagnose, suggest approaches to heal. And often soul level stuff works at a distance very easily. So it depends. One has to kind of judge or trust one's instinct to see whether what can I give this person. And since there are examples of healings by all of these modalities or techniques, it is their understanding that there is a comprehensive to this understanding, this science. And so, I'm being busy, but, you get a lot out of it, because when you see one of your patient actively involved in educating others about this science. So, as we talk about, giving using plasma, with energy, and then, the gravitational part of it, something comes back, and doing it without expectation brings surprises such as the one I just talked about. And we think that people are educated, in the universities are educated. Some of these people they're actually doing the same thing I do, accessing their own inner fields and tapping into it and using it to educate others. It's not I who is doing it, it's all of us. Those who are using it and then talking about it with others. So, it's getting around. And I'll finish this with another statement. On the Sunday meeting that we went to for the dining, I was teaching a class, and I mean, they knew about the situation, and I asked them if they're willing to participate. They can participate by connecting with me. And then one of them vaguely remembered she was at work, but there are certain things that happened with that person and another person who didn't even consciously know, but she she specifically mentioned the time when she did things. So although there was no conscious connection with me in one case, another case kind of like physical, there are a lot of physical disturbance at work, but she also registered in a different way, that, and both involves having food. And so it was quite interesting. So what I'm trying to convey is that beyond our physical communication, things are reaching others through our fields. So let's keep it up. We are all in it together, no matter who it is. Even somebody who started learning about plasma science an hour back is involved in it. The transmission is happening both at the talking Zoom physical level, as well as, more importantly, the soul level, perhaps even beyond. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my dear Moshfik. You beautifully present as in the wisdom. Thank you. Yes, of course. As a mother, as a woman, standing in position of love, I have seen people changing in a way that was not before. And people smiling at me, people. So I thought maybe I'm able to change. So change the formation, change the form that I was, that everybody around me was like that. Things are changing, and that is the way we have taken our position. Thank you, my dear Moshfik. Thank you so, so much. Now, anybody else want to say anything, or we can go to the next slide?
Yes, let's go to the next slide.
Okay.
But thank you, Moshfik. Beautiful testimony.
Hello, everyone. This is Jacko, the UC Dutch. I would also like to confirm what Moshfik just said. In the session on Sunday, I felt the same. The soul connection to those who maybe are not there in physicality, it still is much, much stronger. And I felt very, very connected to those who I know they would not be there. And of course, those who were there, the connection was also very strong. And later on the testimonials, we will go deeper into that. Because that is the seeds that Mr. Keshe planted years ago that bear the fruits now. And also the Brazilian wonderful testimonial, it is what comes out, what brings the change for humanity. And that's really beautiful. So I would like to talk to you about wellness today. This picture was taken last Sunday. Last Saturday, I drove back from Netherlands to Switzerland, and I felt that I need some wellness. The wellness, we can put it on the physical side, we can put it on the soul side. We need it on both sides. In the physical side, sometimes when we're tired, we need a place to reload, to find the energies, to fill up our batteries. And with the soul, it is exactly the same. We need the strength for what we have to do, what is our function, our job, our daily job we have to finish. And it's so important to find this place to get these energies. And from that point of view, last Sunday, that changed a lot for humanity. These possibilities that we went through, this receiving of emotions, of energies on the soul level, and it works on the physical level. For me, this is what Mr. Keshe told about accommodating. We are now getting into the phase where we start to practice soul accommodating on a physical level and on the soul level. And this opens up so many beauty that we can really experience a wellness on that level. And if we think about what are the next steps to come, we have the honor to do this test, to do these first steps, but it's only the first steps. Many, many steps will follow. And the beauty of providing this for all the other peoples, we will talk about it in a document from the Universal Council later, and we will go through that because it shows what the Universal Council is for. And this is our job, to help, to process, to bring this to humanity so that everyone can experience this wellness on the physical level and on the soul level. And if we see, we change, in fact, from 100% physicality in steps, direction to the soul. And for that, we know we have the commandments. We will also have one later. It helps us to reach this level, to open up enough, to expand enough, to do the connections, and with the connections, the possibilities come into our lives. And it's very, very beautiful to do it with you together, because as a group, we learn more. In fact, every day, if you're in the groups, when we're talking about it, we always learn. Thank you very much. And we can go to the next slide, please. So now we come to this document I was talking about before. It is the Universal Council document. You can find it on the homepage of the foundation. And what we see here is the bridge from the soul through the ethos, the unity of souls, the service we can provide, to the peace on earth. And this bridge is very, very strong. If we understand all these single points, then we're on the way to peace on earth. Next slide, please. So the soul, we know, if we go through the physicality by the commandments to the soul, then the soul of the Universal Council invites every soul to the Charter for Humanity to serve with love and peace for all creations of the Creator. And then through the ethos, we are here to serve and not to be served. This wisdom in equality, integrity, and humbleness opens up the key to do the next step. The unity, we know Mehran started it at 9 o'clock. Meanwhile, it feels so good this time to open up the soul, to be with you together. And in the expression of this essence is the unity of all beings in the path of serving all unconditionally. As soon as we set conditions, it will not work. But in the unconditional love, we go this way. The services, we know Mr. Keshe is preparing with the systems, with the possibilities we have today, we didn't have for even a short time. But with these services, the Universal Council is here to serve each and every soul in the universe with unconditional love to bring unity to all beings. Realize what dimension is written here. It's the universe. It's not only on Earth. So the peace
Peace is a natural state of all human beings. And with elevation of all souls, we bring humanity to this natural state. It's where we belong, where we go back to. Thank you very much. So the next slide, please, Rick.
Thank you, Jacko. Thank you so much. So beautifully explained the ethos, how necessary the unity is of, we can say, universal. All the cosmos is united now, and in the oneness we are speaking to give as soul gives always. And then here is one planet, one solution, and that is the solution from the universal soul. We are here to serve. And I can say that in the 20th session, I was not registered, but I experienced the way the universe works, the love of the universe work. I understood the position of mine. And then when it was my wish from the Creator to see the truth, that the truth should come out and everybody should be aware of this knowledge like that. And the truth came out. And then I can see the parasites and I can see them clearly. With the storm they came. And then one by one, I started depleting in a way the position I am. I don't need, in this position of love, I trusted many material things, like material. And I told these energies that I trusted you. But then now it happened that that was not trust, that was my manifestation accordingly to the condition. And then these created this parasitic effect on me. And there's a storm I was facing. Then one by one, I understood in this ability of universal knowledge, we all have naturally to understand what we don't need anymore. So maybe sometimes we felt the thinness. Oh, this is even an emotion going on. We felt that thinness, but then this is necessary. This is necessary to, as Jacko said, for the wellness. How can we well? The cleansing, the hygiene, the wellness is very necessary. And because of this, we are creating ourselves in this position more and more, appearing more and more in this position of love given to us, to give love. So I will say that as we became all lovers, and these parasites were depleting day by day, moment by moment. And I'm using the word parasite, and it would be understandable more. And these are even an emotion, we say virus, that is a virus attacking you or being with you for many, the whole evolutionary process, these were with you. And now they're coming out and saying that we betrayed you like that, So I said, what? I believed in you. Then why you believed? Why? There's no way you should have believed. What is the point? Then I said, yes. If this parasite, even the parasite goes of emotion, of a viral, of whatever, that was this feeling of losing. Oh my God, I'm not in balance. But then the position gives us this balance, and we understood that this has to go. And this is let going of understanding of what we don't need anymore. So then comes this wellness. We understand the wellness, how it is, how hygienic we can be naturally. Washing clothes and washing this and that, bathing the whole day in a swimming pool and say, I am clean. But are you? Are we? We have to clean. We have to be hygienic. We have to be well for this manifestation of the newness of the new human cycle. And this is what we say, here are the food we came, like that. Can you dine with me? So many are there. And I'm so happy that I came with the food of knowledge, and everybody's hunger is now like completed, they don't need any more. They are not hungry. And they seeing more the beauty of this knowledge. I understood that. They said to me. So these were the experience of 20th of this month, and 19th. I mean, I apologize. 19th, and this has transformed. Even that we are just transforming ourselves in a way, in this beauty, in this truthfulness, as we all wished for, and the whole world is in this position. And maybe there are many things going on, but then when we say, as the priest saying of the wish, the beauty, the joy of the dying man, who was saying, but what in our state of mind, our position, we cannot say the man is dying at all. He's just transforming. Maybe he never leaves, he never dies, like that. So I will say that in this position, this is the only solution, one solution of this one planet. As we are here to serve, as we are lovers, and the position of love is so beautiful. So I will share, thank you, Jacko, my dear. This is the beauty I wanted to say. There are many words, but sometimes when we say that, do you need? What do you need? Oh, I need this. And the interaction started. That is the beauty. You have said, you have asked in love, and the response is with love. That's the key, always. And this is the sharing we are doing, communicating, elevating. Some, if we say some are not in this position, okay, that's all. But then the elevation will be going on physically or non-physical, kind of that. We cannot say death. We cannot say they died, but we can say they lived forever. So in love. Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Now we can go to the next. Oh, anybody else want to say anything about this one?
Go.
Yes. Okay. Mary?
Oh, I'm
Hello?
waiting for the next slide.
Okay, we can go to the next slide. Yes, of course.
So this is the testimonies from the session on Sunday, the 19th of February, 2023, connecting with the soul of the Creator. And we have a testimony from one of our Universal Council members who is not here. So I think she wants us to read it. I cannot see her. No. So I'm planning to read her testimony from Sunday. So she writes, hello, please share my experience yesterday. I have salivated all the time of the event, and I felt some fruit that I visualized and sent around the planet, and finally to the units in Linz, also pizza and rice, because there was many exercises where, among other things, there were pizza and rice. Mr. Keshe explained about that. I concentrated on feeling the sweet and sour taste, like strawberries and olives, just like cheese. I didn't think about being satisfied or not, just about feeling the taste. I had difficulty in feeling and sending to the unit animal food, because it's not a food that I eat. I caught a glimpse of some chicken, a piece of pork, and a fish. I focused by food according to the vitamins that the body has and needs. I don't feel hungry, even though my last physical meal was on Saturday 8:30 p.m. It's now 12:30 p.m. Monday. Around 1 a.m. Want, don't need, and have some latte. I really know that I really know that each being can be fed plasmatically through cosmic rays and eliminate physical dependencies on them to achieve the peace and justice. 1,000 thanks to the Master who made it possible to remember this knowledge that the Creator has donated to us. So that was a testimony from one of the UC members. I don't know if you want to say something here, Jackal, about the Sunday, if you're there.
Yes, Marie. For me, it was a wonderful experience. As I told before, the connection was very, very wonderful. And the pizza was tasting very, very well. And what I also tried was sharing all the beautiful experiences that came to my mind, which I had during my life. And it is really, really special to feel these emotions. And those who were there, we now start to understand how it will be, in which direction we go. And I had to say, till Monday evening, I had no problems with drinking without a bottle. So it's the same like before, was told before. And that was also a very special sensation to have the water to drink without a bottle or any source. And I see forward to the next experience because we all together help to build up the system, to test it. Mr. Keshe is doing a very wonderful job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jacob. Is there anyone else who has an experience that they want to share from the Sunday session?
Marie, hi, it's Dean here. May I share an experience?
Yes, yes, please.
So my experience was, I've been into a couple of these now, and the first experience was that we were told to build up the energies inside our structure. So this would be on a soul level, building up the soul level energies and receiving from the units and from all the souls present. And so I did this, and then let the energies, sort of circulate. And I then brought this energy to sort of circumnavigate and come outside of my my soul, so to then wrap it around my soul of physicality. So I created this sort of dome of peace, or a sphere around my physical body. And then we were told to receive lots of different food substances and in specific moments. And my experience was that I didn't actually, and this may be just localized to myself, obviously, I didn't actually taste lots of different foods and this sort of thing. I just had, in the first instance, I had this very big sensation of a big tingling on the tip of my tongue, and a sense of being full, I suppose. And then over the period of the whole session, this sensation broadened and went to the middle of my tongue. And I had more of a sensation of that this tingling spreading out onto a bigger area of the surface area of my tongue. so I felt a connection. And I know by bringing the soul out and connecting that I was receiving energies from the souls present. So there would have been the field strength of Mr. Keshe present there. There would have been the field strength of all the beautiful souls present. And obviously the creator himself present, giving to humanity in this precise moment. The energies seem to change position. So in one part of this process, I experienced certain energies in a certain part of my brain. So I felt like a slight pressure, a slight opening up of energies, and I could feel it. Being part of the foundation and being aware of many of the situations as a soul, you start to then establish this connection and receiving the different energies. And for me, the food part of it wasn't really important for me. I connected on the soul level, and then as a UC supporter, I was given to the other souls present, and I was given to all the circumstances and all the energies that are present around the planet in these moments. So all the souls. So as much as I was receiving on a food level, this sensation, and Mr. Keshe said that this we need to give it a few days, 5 days or so, for this to settle down, and then we can then go back to the system and start to establish another connection and receive the energies, spectrum of energies later on. So we're in this transitional period now, where we're going through these days of waiting, 5 days or so, and then we will take another position where we start to go back to this position and start to receive the energies again. So this was a sort of my experience, and it was also on another level. There would be many experiences where there was one moment when the soul expanded out. So I've had this before, where the body. For me, this is my experience. So the body, for me, there are certain parts of my body, down my back, the back of my legs, and through my whole of my lower back, it went very cold. And for me, I know this is when the soul expanded out over the soul of physicality. And there was a moment where this time I decided to, the time before I led flat. And so I went through an experience where, because I was led flat, I was receiving different energies, and this sent me into a dream state. So I was more of a sleeping state. So this time I decided to sit up a little bit more, not completely upright, but more upright. So my angle of my brain was in a different position. So I was receiving a different spectrum of energies, and it made me stay more consciously aware of my surroundings and my experience. However, there was a moment where I totally, however you want to describe it, the soul circumnavigated the body, and I didn't lose consciousness as such, but the physical body wasn't apparent anymore. And in that split moment, that split second, that's when I received it felt like I received the energy. And we've been told by Mr. Keshe that this happens, that you can receive this in a fraction of a second. It doesn't need to be a big, long, prolonged position of being, meditating and things. You can elevate and you can receive this in an instant. And for me, that particular moment seemed to me to be that instant I received a spectrum of elevation and of a feeding system. And so that was my experience. I'm still going through this gradual sort of elevating and awakening. And I'm still eating. I just want to make that very apparent. I didn't get this big feeling of lots of food and things, and I'm still eating at the moment. And when I went through the process, also there was a moment where we were told to receive from some water that Mr. Keshe put in the system. And many knowledge seekers experience this, where we were salivating, and I had the same thing as well. I was extremely, there's a lot of water in the mouth, and when the session finished, I needed to drink some water, and I know that this salivation would have been a part of the feeding process, because when you actually salivate, so if you thought of a particular element of food or whatever it was that was being positioned, there was some pizza, there was some rice, there was a banana. As soon as you thought of those particular items, if they were relevant to you, you started to salivate yourself. You know the situation when someone starts to speak about food, and as soon as they speak about it, it triggers an emotion in you, and you start to salivate. You start to think, yeah, I really quite fancy that. I would like to receive that. And in that precise moment, as soon as you think that, you're receiving that energy. So for me, in each moment, that salivation of the water or the other foods contributed to the understanding of receiving the energies, the spectrum of energies that these foods supply to us. Because the food that we physically eat is only responsible, according to Mr. Keshe's teachings and the understandings I've come to know, only 20% of the totality of what we need as a human being. The 80% comes from the environment all around us, from all the elements. So this 20% that I required from that food that I experienced was enough. However, when you start to tap in on a soul level, so you're feeding not just physical feeding, you're feeding on a soul level, which is from the Creator, which is everything, the full spectrum of all the energies around us. And we all do this in our daily lives, in everything we do. In everything we do, in every moment, we're receiving the energies from the universal flow, from the earth, from our environments. And then we tap into, when we have this emotion, we tap into the food source that tops up the 20% to give us the energies that we need. So this was my understanding of it, and it was a wonderful experience, and I'm sure many of you will come to experience this yourselves. So thank you for listening. Thank you, Marie.
Thank you for your testimony, Dean.
Thank you, Marie. Yeah, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Do we have other knowledge seekers who wants to?
I will add this MOSFET again. So since Dean introduced the idea of food of another kind. And we know this, I mean, we talk about this food for thought. This kind of expressions are there in our languages. And so beyond this 20%, 80% that we need as energy source, is there more to this feeding? Or, if we think about this idea of food, in the current context in this planet, we set up a table, we invite some friends and family, and we eat together. And we eat the same food, and we exchange other things around the table, and we exchange things the feeling of the emotional state, and perhaps more. And so we prepare a table as has been done in case of our flight 19. We prepare the table for the guests, for those who we want to serve. There is one particular statement by Mr. Keshe, that he talks about, how we engage ourselves in the flight systems. And there are people who visited LINS and they didn't feel anything. As this discussion was going on, there was this mention of the need to come to this system. It's not those who come to the system, they need to come not empty-handed. So they have to bring their own contribution for this table that we are setting up. So with this thought of bringing to serve, bringing items for the table for others to dine in. So is it about consuming food? That's part of it. That's part of our reality on this planet. And sometimes we work 40 hours, 80 hours a week even to do this. But did we come to this planet to eat and go to the bathroom? Of course, that's another story. But beyond that. So let's so in this event, what I'm going to talk about next is more of a translation of my experience rather than what actually happened, because I don't know specifically how to speak these things in terms of words, because I think this experience is not very susceptible to verbal speaking, and I'll try to transmit as much as I can in other field strengths, but I will be using words, but not necessarily the exact experience, but you can tap into the other fields and get the rest of it. So the coming to this meeting was one of my target was to serve the Universal Council, since I'm a Universal Council support member. And what I am talking about now is specifically for the capable individuals in the Universal Council to make use of. They're well equipped to do it. I am just supporting their effort. One of the thing is this setting up of the table with what? With my experience, I bring to this table the very best I can for others. These are fields, not necessarily food, but does it nourish others? Those who are willing to receive it, why not? I do my part of decorating the table for others. So this is at the level of my level, but it's not just me, but the culture, the family I come from, the culture I belong to, the planet I belong to. I bring all of which is their contribution, which I have collected over the years, to the table as well. And this is for everybody who come to the table. And this table that was set up at the enhancement unit facility, who came to this table? We, those who were in the meeting, and those who connected with us, and others who are participating in this from beyond the confine of the planet. So this is a sort of our terrestrial level. You can think of it that way. Then, you know, as the soul's journey is not restricted to the periphery of the planet. So we go to the level of solar system. We can do the same at that level as well. Set up a table at the solar system level with energies coming from the planet and the solar system. I did not receive, the fields I bring is not just my field, but the fields I received from other planets in the solar system. So that too was on the table. And so you go beyond to the galaxy level. And can you feel this interaction? Yes. You can move to the level of the universe and start seeing the interaction of the other universes. And there were like specific star constellation or other universes that, I mean, resonate with my fields. So you can sense these things. And of course, the creator and that connection and our experience of coming to the planet in the end is a part of the creator's participation with the creation. So I bring to the table of the creator all the experiences of those who connected with me, whether it's my friend on this planet, or if it can be another universe at the edge of our universe that I interacted with. Doesn't matter. It's for everyone at that who can participate in this sphere, at this level. Or I mean, the better expression is at the universal level table. So, and you know, there is a interchange of energies of different kind at different levels. And to me, this was part of the experience. Of course, we exist at the physical level. The food is also part of our experience, but what I'm trying to emphasize is that we can do a lot. And for all of us, what this all means, all fields. And this includes the creator. So this was part of my experience. And the reason I'm speaking about this way, because Dean very nicely described the context in which I'm speaking now, which is the part of the experience beyond food. And thanks, Dean, but otherwise I could not have said what I'm doing now. But don't take my word, take also the fields that I'm transmitting this message in. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mosfeq. Wonderfully said. It expresses many emotions and many thoughts and interactions that we all experience when we are touched by the plasma. It touches the soul. It touches the soul aspect of the physicality, and it elevates and gives peace. So I can describe that in another way, where I had recently a small little group workshop, teaching some people and giving some people some guidance on how to make the cup of life. And this cup gives a spectrum of fields to establish a connection, to deplete an energy pack. When you're going through the process of making this, the way I describe it is for people to experience, with every twist and turn, with everything you're doing, you're creating. So you have this soul and you have this intention, and you're using your tools, your hands, which when they reach out are creating. It's like when you reach out for, you think of something, your hands automatically go to a very specific food, this energy source. And it's a very natural thing. When you go to a table to dine, you reach out to a specific thing without even thinking about it. Your hands are extensions of the energy that you need, and you naturally just go to the one that you require. And we're all different. So this process of going through every twist and turn of making the cup of life is putting in thoughts and intentions of beauty, and you are creating an environment for a soul to be present. And so within the aspect of copper and zinc and nano-coated copper, you're creating this environment, as I said, for a soul. And we call it, Mr. Keshe calls this, and we call this the cup of life, and we call it plasmatic water. So the elements that are all around us, that we all feed from in every moment, are brought into this cup, into a salt solution. And this salt solution then has something called GANs, gas in a nanosolid state, that forms at the bottom of this jar over a period of time. And depending upon the intention set and given as you're making this, you can have many, many beautiful experiences. And it, as I said, it depletes the energy of a particular energy source. When I was given this teaching and this understanding to the others, I could see it. You go through various different emotions and very many different conditions as you're doing it and as you're explaining it. But you see the other souls understanding the process. When this cup was made, one beautiful soul took it back to his apartment. And within his apartment, he said that he knew that there was other things going on. So he just placed the cup in the apartment, and he came back to me and he gave me a testimonial. And he said that next time I saw him, he said that there's some people upstairs were some children were arguing and unsettled, and I think this goes on quite a lot. And just, he said, within a very short period of time of placing the cup, they become very settled and peaceful and calmed down and very quiet. So the environment, the field spread from the cup of life was affecting. And as we know, the magnetical fields go through everything. They're not just present in a contained cup. The fields, like the sun that touches all of us in every moment, is always shining, whether it's behind a cloud or not, it's always present. So these fields are present, and they were giving, and these children were receiving a spectrum of energies that brought them back to balance and peace. And this technology, this plasma, only ever gives in a beautiful way. It would never take from you. It would never do any harm. So there was another instance within the same apartment block where he said that there were some people that normally are very grumpy and don't say hello and would not, wouldn't interact very much. And he said that he was very surprised. And he had this big smile on his face as he said that they actually were like, wow, hello, how are you? It's like he was very surprised. So this was yet another position of this, just one cup being placed in an environment that was giving, a new soul that was created with love and care, with a lot of love and care. And these souls that are present that made this cup, as we brought this soul into formation, we gave unconditionally from our soul, and each soul that was present was given to this soul on many different aspects, was feeding the soul. So that soul may have received the energies from our souls, and from a spectrum of, we say foods, we could say food. So we fed the soul the food that it required. And it brought about a beauty for everybody to see when we were making it. And then the field strength, when this cup was placed in its environment, then very quickly it started to develop the GANs within it, because within that environment, that cup needed to be present. It needed to give the energy to the others around it for them to receive. And this is part of this process. It's part of this understanding of the plasma, of opening up and waking up to the soul aspect and the field interactions that the soul receives in each and every moment. And it's a very beautiful process. It's very gentle and very, but also at the same time, on a scientific level, it's new. It's I say new. It's, Mr. Keshe would say, it's a technology that, as I said, depletes the energy of, let's say, a virus, and it's very specific for this. And however, the field interactions were bringing souls in physicality to balance within the environment that it was placed, because of the structure of the cup and the intention of all the beautiful souls that were present set. And this made a huge difference. And so it's like with any creation, you were speaking about Mosfeq, other people do this in their other processes. It's exactly the same thing. When you do something with love and care, and when you create and you give as you would give to your child or to your spouse or whoever, your parents or whoever, when you actually give them that thought, that loving intention, you're creating that field strength of beauty. And so you're feeding them. And this is part of the process that we're all coming to understand. So thank you, Mosfeq. Thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you.
Yes, and that was part of the process of the connecting with the soul of the creator event as well, of course, giving to the group that was involved with that process, and receiving also from the central sun, you could say, that Mr. Keshe was creating at the Linz event and at that location. And I wanted to relate a kind of a funny story that happened to me before the event, actually, where I had several hours before the event, I had a craving for some food. I hadn't had dinner. And I thought, well, geez, maybe I'll have some pizza tonight. I don't usually have pizza, maybe once a month or every couple of months or something. And I had some frozen pizza, and so I cut half of it, cut it in half, and I had a dilemma because my oven wasn't working. So normally I put the frozen pizza in the oven, and away you go. And the microwave's not really good for frozen pizza, so that doesn't work. So I decided to use a sort of a large pan that I received recently, and put the pizza into this pan and cover on it, and went back to the internet and did some things that I had to do. And it turned out I had the heat up too high on the pan, and when I went back, the pizza was very well burnt, and there was only perhaps a couple of mouthfuls that was edible out of the whole thing, and not even big mouthfuls. So I ended up picking, some of the onions and cheese off it that were still surviving, and the rest, the crust and everything, was totally burnt. So I thought, well, at least I have these couple of mouthfuls, so I'll really pay attention to them and allow that amount of food, which was less than 20% probably of the equation, you might say, and of the physicality part of the pizza. And I allowed that to feed myself, those couple of small mouthfuls, and chewing it really well, and allowing the saliva and so on to mix, and felt nourished from that. I wasn't angry that I'd lost my pizza. I just basically, wrote it off and said, oh, well, and I will make do with what I have and try to spread it out, basically. And then later on, a few hours later, when I was in the actual workshop, and by that time it's 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning of my time when I start the workshop. And what do I hear about? About visualizing pizza. This is what, the main course ends up being, basically. So for me, it was quite funny. And yes, I could visualize the pizza quite well at that time. And I was still probably having some of the taste in my mouth, literally from earlier, which was a strange coincidence. And so, yes, I had a good, session, and it seemed to be like a strange expansion of time, that 2 hours went by just like instantly, and suddenly I was at the end. Even though I didn't fall asleep, I didn't, sometimes I nod off and these kind of things, but I wasn't nodding off. I was aware during the whole time, but it seemed to go really, really quickly. Then I had a thing after the session, the next afternoon, where I decided to have the other half of the pizza. And wouldn't you know, I got distracted. I did the same darn thing again. I burnt it in the pan. And it was kind of embarrassing, but I ended up doing the same thing. I somehow, I think maybe my soul was doing the cooking, and decided that my physicality just didn't need so much of the physical food after all. So I ended up, extracting a half a pizza out of a mouthful of food, physicality food, and trying to feel the satisfaction of that, all of that food, in spite of losing most of it due to my inattention at the time, or attention to something else. So that's my little story about the connecting with the soul of the Creator, or dining with the Creator is another name for it, on the 19th of February.
Thank you, Rick. We have another scheduled testimony, but maybe we take that after the next slide, or the next slides, because we have more about commandments. You go on, Jacob.
Yes. The commandment number 13, the man feeds his loved ones as well as his enemies. Moses had the problem that he couldn't do that. Although the food was not the food of physicality, it was the food of love, the food of giving from one's soul. Because food, to us, we work for it, to earn it, to be able to consume it. He had to give from his soul the same to his enemies as his tribe. And he couldn't do that. So he had to destroy the table, as we know. Now, during the session on Sunday, I had a moment where I felt to share the food, the energy of the food and the drinks to the people in Turkey and Syria. Because a lot of us think maybe that it's over, but it is not. A lot of people are suffering there. They're missing food chains. The water is sometimes not drinkable because everything is damaged. And during the session, I had this feeling I want to share and I want to send. For the Universal Council, this is also one of the things is written in the document we will go through in the next weeks. In fact, we can supply, we can help and support from the soul level to the physicality. And that is really one beautiful thing this commandment is explaining. This connection again from the soul, from the physicality. And the soul food is more important than the physical food if we start to learn how it works. So please go to the next slide, Rick. I only have my telephone. I can hardly read it. Is there someone who could read this, please?
I can read it for you if you like.
Thank you, Marie.
So this is what Mr. Keshe said about this commandment in the private teaching. Mr. Keshe, I can spend years to teach only this one, and in a way to explain it, just this. Because if you look at it, it says the man feeds his loved ones the same as with his enemies. Hold on, what do that word love means? Giving, unconditionally. And in a way, giving from the soul, even in the time of anger, even in the time of hardship, even in the time of everything else, even in the dimension of new emotions, which we've been tested with. Oh, I just have to see if I'm on the right. Which we get to know more. But can we give the same to those who we call enemies and those who we call friends? Have you been testing? Have you done different for one that you think the other one's needs? Or do you think you're always correct in that position? Or do we see everything in the dimension of physicality? Then we look at our enemies, because the biggest enemy of the man is man himself. When you cannot tame the soul of physicality, then it becomes your enemy. And can we give the same to our soul of physicality? First of all, can we give that to ourselves to elevate our own physical dimension? And if we put feeding, do we need to be fed? Or is it giving unconditionally that it becomes the food of the soul? And how many times you have sat, and even with your own children, with your own loved ones, and while sitting you say, take from me what you need, that you all are happy. And then I'm asking Mr. Keshe, I have a question, Mr. Keshe. We have to be humble to be able to receive the fields or be fed from the soul of the man, don't we? The humbleness. And Mr. Keshe answers, we need to be humble to give unconditionally. Receiving is again stealing. If you wait to receive or you give to receive, you have already failed. And then I ask, so the humbleness is always when we are giving? And Mr. Keshe says, of course. What do we call humbleness? Humbleness is what I receive is yours. And the biggest enemy is, and the biggest enemy of the man is that man let be stolen from him and will let to steal to give to. Because when you give a commitment, it's a commandment, is given, is clean, is cut. This is what I always say. If you are asked and are given, it's not stealing. And is when you are given, this is what we call love. When you try to justify how you give, that love brings problems, both in the dimension of physicality and the soul. And now try to solve the rest of it. It just piles up. It just piles up, one after another. I lay down, I sleep with peace, because I always ask. If I'm given, and I always give without asking. So it's detachment that brings that feeling of love. Because when you are detached, you feed, you always give. Somehow, when you are detached, everything goes through its own course, time and space. And you don't need then to worry about what you feed and how you feed, because whatever you do is all in essence giving. Maybe you call that love. And then when you are always giving, there are no enemies and no friends. This commandment, number 12, is the pivotal point of the whole structure of life in the universe. To give unconditionally. And if you deeply look at it, it's an attribute of the Creator. We have categorized it, but in essence, in the universe, knowledge is emotion and total emotion. And if you share knowledge unconditionally, it's loving, it's feeding. Feeding doesn't have to be food or energy. Knowledge, freely giving, is feeding, loving. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. In the last German teachings, Mario told that Mr. Keshe is even asking for his own ballpoint, his own materials, and that shows he is living this, and we should see it as an example and follow it.
Yes, and I've been doing something on my own here, because Mr. Keshe talks about the 7 valleys of Baha'u'llah, which was a prophet. And what's special about Baha'u'llah is that he is one of the prophets who wrote what he received. Because like Jesus and Muhammad, they are all kind of, it's written long time after things were happening. And in these 7 valleys, I found it on the internet. There was some very interesting points, and this is from the introduction. Just a moment, I just need to find it. And let me see. because it's related to the commandments. And I think Mr. Keshe said that it's still, I don't remember the wording, but in the last Knowledge Seekers workshop, he talked about the 7 valleys just briefly. And he said it's the way of the soul to the creator in a way. And if I just can find what I was going to tell here, he says something very interesting. So I will read this very short thing from the 7 valleys. In all these journeys, the traveler, because the 7 valleys is about the traveler, which travels through all these valleys. In all these journeys, the traveler must stray not the breadth of a hair from the law, for this is indeed the secret of the path and the fruit of the tree of truth. And in all these stages, he must cling to the robe of obedience to the commandments and hold fast to the cord of shunning all forbidden things, that he may not be nourished from the cup of the law, that he may be nourished from the cup of the law and informed of the mysteries of the truth. And so here it says that for a soul to reach this path to the Creator, it needs to be obedience to the commandments. So they are very important for us. I just want to mention that. And in this, from the soul teaching that I just read before this 7 valleys, he also talks about humbleness. Isn't that, because that's also very important, because that's kind of the key to the giving, that you don't expect anything back, because you have to give unconditionally. And another thing is that if you live like this, you don't have any enemies. What is an enemy? And actually he says you don't have a friend either, because you treat everyone equal. And the problems on what we call today an enemy, that's someone who needs to sort out his own problems in a way, because we cannot judge anyone else and we should not be judged by others. That's another commandment. Okay, thank you.
So I would like to share my last testimonial for today. I was working in the office and I didn't eat anything. I didn't took anything to work, but normally it's no problem. I can wait till the evening. And all of a sudden, it was about maybe 2 o'clock. I was thinking about a ham. And in this moment, when I thought about it, I got the taste and the water starts running and I had the feeling I had a ham in my mouth. So maybe that is the next step. We are seeing forward to next week, where those who were participated have the chance to test, to work with the system. In my case, I think it's already working.
Well, thank you for that beautiful testimony, Jacob.
Thank you, Marie.
We have one who wants to make a testimony. Andreas, are you available? Maybe it's the right spot.
Hello to everyone. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, beautiful.
Can I share my screen here? Or I will tell it at first, and when the time comes, then I share the screen. Or yes, now it's already possible. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Yes. Whew, so I'm translating here. Thank you very much for every meeting, I have at first a testimonial and then an invitation to everyone. We know us since a long time, and I have spoken about it a few times 4, 5, 6 years ago when I came to the Keshe Foundation in private studies. And it was about my son, and I live 3.5, 4 hours from him. And he had a lot of problems with his mother. And already 8 years ago, I wanted that he lives at my place. And I lived, I had, I have a handicap bus with 70% that I'm handicapped. I have a lot of injuries. And so it's for me, it's difficult to work 40 hours a week consistent in just the company to earn money. I mean, there's much more behind, and I had to live at my parents' house because I was not able to earn money that I could live at my son's place. And I was living in the second floor, and it's a house from the 1960s. And there were single rooms because it was rented as for holiday makers 40 years ago. And it was all old, and it was not, I mean, I could live here. But when it was about that my son could live at my place, everyone, my parents, the mother of my son, everyone said no, because here he cannot live. And also everyone was against me because, yeah, go working and plasma technology, what do you want with that? And I went through very hard times. And in the end of 2021, my son had very much problems at home. And again, a lot of times I was just at my home, total helpless. I have not known what I can do. I saw no way to do it. And I was crying here. I thought a lot of times also if I want to still to live, because I can't resist the pain what I had. I cannot explain the situations which happened because it's too personal for different people. But it was very brutal, and I was crying, and a lot of times I was not able to serve how I would like to, because it broke me to be in this situation. And in the end of 2021, like that, I was laying here in my bed and my son had troubles, and I was just asking, please help me, please help me. I need help. I've done everything what I want. I've done a correct life, but I cannot do it alone. I need help. Please help me. And yeah, the time went by and the emotions balanced a little bit again. Even I had that every time in my back head. And on February last year, I was sleeping after I've worked in the night and stood up very early, and then at the afternoon I was sleeping, and suddenly I hear voices or sounds in my flat. I fall again into sleep, and then I woke up again, and I thought myself, yeah, I should go looking what are these sounds. And I opened the door, and I had suddenly the smell of a shock in my nose. and my flat was burning, at least one room. And yeah, it was not able to get water and put the fire out. And I had to run downstairs because otherwise I would have died very fast into this smoke. When you inhale at one time, you know you don't have much time, you have to go out. And after that, 70 firemen were here because they haven't known how much is burning, but it was only one room. And this one room, the smoke of it, as you can see it here, destroyed all the flat, the windows, everything. And you don't get this black ash or smoke out of that. And so it was total damage and yeah, shock, and my mother shocked too. And we haven't known how that all will be. We've never had to do with such a thing. Will the insurance pay? How much they pay? And yeah, and for me then it was very fast clear somehow it has a reason why that happened. And I remember to Mr. Keshe when he told all the bad things at the end had something good. And I believe just in this, and that I don't forget it. At this time, I had no computer, and I was into it with the Spanish community, Portuguese community here, and different workshops in translating them and having wonderful experience together as knowledge seekers. And I had a strong wish, I need a computer, and I made a emergency meeting in the German-speaking community. I showed what happened, and I asked if they could donate me for a computer till I know if the insurance will pay. And yeah, within 24 hours, I had the donation, and we said then when the insurance pays, the whole money gets to the Keshe Foundation. And here I have to say also something different. When after 5 years I went the first time again to my PayPal account, Shandor showed up there with his picture. And I remembered that the time before he died, I never had contact with him, but especially in this time, I don't know why we had contact together. And he told me about his situation and so on. And at this time, then we also other language groups made donation campaigns for Shandor. That's because he was not able to work anymore because of his disease, and his family needed money. And that's why his photo showed up at my PayPal account. And at this time, I was in shock 2 days or 3 days after it. And it was for me like if Shandor would help me and us in this situation, and I could feel him that he is here and that he is supporting, helping me like I tried to help him too, or like we helped him. And the German-speaking community donated that within 24 hours. Then I had a new computer. I lived at my mother in the child room where I lived 30 years ago. And had my computer, my mattress on the flat, and I was able to surf in the way I do it. And yeah, after the time then we knew I knew from the beginning, I don't want to interfere, or I don't want to steal from the insurance, or want to make something with the police who controlled everything and how that happened and so on. I just was here, and I don't know how to explain it in English. I just stood to that what is, and I knew the right thing will come out. And I asked also my aunt, the ancestors, for help. Yeah, and all went well. And the insurance decided to pay the whole damage. And then I had the possibility to let companies do it, or I do it to my own with friends and companies, a mixture. And when I do it my own, I get less money, but I don't have to pay for companies. Yeah, and so I spent the last year 1,300, 400 hours just in renovating the flat. It was a learning process, because also there were emergency situations with my son. At the same time, it was pain, but I had also I had to balance the situation with my mother, because she was in fear a lot of times. And how should I say, the teachings, this workshop here, and you all, and all language groups, and Mr. Keshe, the Keshe Foundation, the whole work kept me alive and kept me going. And shortly said, on Wednesday last week, the last door come for the flat, and 3 days later on Saturday, my son came to my flat, and he is living now at my place. It was very emotional, also with his mother and my mother, and I had to use all what I have learned with the commandments, with all what we have learned from the plasma technology from Mr. Keshe, to be able to take the right decisions, to stay calm when I got attacked, and just to make the right steps that this got possible. And I'm very thankful for that. I have also tears in my eyes now, but I tell the story now the third or fourth time in the German meeting and other meetings. And so I repeat it already, but I'm very thankful for every that I could learn from you all, and that you helped me all in these years. I believe that are 6 or 7 years now, that you helped me and we helped us to understand ourselves, to behave correct, and every time behave to the benefit of all. And so shortly said, I'm very thankful for, I cannot explain that in words. The flat here looks empty, but I had sleeping places at knowledge seekers. They gave me something to eat. They gave me a bed. They gave me a television. A computer was donated. And Yeah, and in a German community, then 3 people got from this money a flight ticket at the exhibit in Linz. People who had no money could write to me or Mario and say, I would like to be part of a raffle. And this money, which was donated to me and which I then donated to the Keshe Foundation from the German-speaking community, was raffled to 3 people who could do that flight in Linz. And then we also said we keep on going with a own donation campaign for people out of the German community, from people out of the German community, and then 2 further tickets for the flight in Linz were donated. And then at the end, 1 transmutation ticket was donated. And this all came somehow out of this fire which had been in my flat. And there were so many experiences. I'm a little bit full in my head now. But I was a lot of times crying because I haven't known where I should give my thank you or why I received this friend, the workers who had been here, or everyone. I got so much presents with, how should I say, cheaper prices for things, and nobody somehow wanted to make a business out of my case. They all helped me. Does not depend if companies or self-employed people. I got so much well-being, that I was crying a lot of times. And tomorrow at 9 a.m. in the morning, I drive with my son to Linz. I can sleep at 2 knowledge seekers again when I don't sleep at Dean's place. And I'm just thankful for this opportunity all the times when I'm in Upper Austria. And I want to go with my thankfulness and with my love in the system and give my love back to the creation, to every families on the world, that the pain balances, that the children find peace, but also for the whole creation, for all plants, for all animals, and for the universal community and all which exists, to all souls. And it would be not only a pleasure, but also an honor if we can go to there as a family all together, and if we share all together what we have, so that we can elevate all together and grow together. So everyone who wants is invited tomorrow to be there. And maybe Rick, I come to the Keshe Plasma Reactor group. I cannot promise, but maybe. So we are in there with a woman who won the ticket at the raffle from the German donation campaign. I don't know her. I've never seen her or spoken with her. And I will also support her in there if she needs support and if I can support. And maybe someone of you supports with your field strength. If we are maybe in difficulties, I don't know what will be tested tomorrow. And if we could go as a family and you would be with me and us, it would nothing make me happier than that. Thank you.
Thanks, Andreas. I'd be happy to have you at the Keshe Plasma Reactor group if you can make it. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Andreas. Thank you so much. So beautiful. You invited us. Beautiful. Thank you. We are always with you. We are always a family. We love each other. That is the key. And we will be there always. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute.
Rick, it's Dean here. May I just quickly say something about Andreas and his situation that he's just described there?
Yeah, sure.
So Andreas is, I met Andreas when I was present in Austria. And like all of us, all knowledge seekers, we're all present in physical bodies, and we all have lots of different circumstances and emotions and family relations and all sorts of feel strengths and you know, events that happen around our lifetimes. And like many knowledge seekers that come here on and are present as knowledge seekers in and around all different areas of the planet Earth, they all, on a soul level, have a certain understanding, and then the plasma opens up, and then they become very serving, giving souls. And Andreas, in his full beauty as a soul present, I always remember meeting Andreas, and he's a lot bigger and taller than I am. And giving it's like trying to give a bear a hug. He's a great big fellow, and but he's a very beautiful soul. And I know he had many aspects where he had, you know, we shared some experiences and we spoke together. And and I met his family, or his son, and you know, and shared some time and some emotions together. And so to see Andreas go through this process of a gentle sort of like understanding and elevation of the soul. So there would have been a moment when Andreas would have been in that position where he was in his bedroom, worried about his son, about his relationship, about all the aspects that have happened to him. And he was calling out on a soul level, knowing the information he has. And then in that moment, that precise moment, the soul decides to give, and not just his soul, all the other souls come together. And this is this giving, unconditional giving. And so Andreas received on a soul level, and we saw the way that it all opened up, the way it all changed, the whole situation, years of certain situations that happened where Andreas decided to use his soul. So he brought his soul outside of his physicality, and his soul then connected with the other souls and has brought about this wonderful condition where everything in Andreas' life is starting to has changed, has flipped. He now has his son, and he has the relationship he had is mended. His son is in a beautiful position now. I'm sure his relationship, I'm only speaking from my point of view, but his relationship with his mother will have changed, and all aspects of everything in his life is now a giving situation. I always remember Andreas there was a moment Andreas decided to give unconditionally, and he started sharing in the German knowledge seekers workshops and with the foundation. He just started pouring from him. It was just a continual giving. He was doing translations constantly. He was giving presentations and speaking, running workshops. He was doing everything. He's just unconditionally giving, like many of the knowledge seekers do. And this is in service. So by non-judgment and just being in service to others, then the plasma opens up and he's received back. And it's beautiful for his physical journey, and his soul journey is a wonderful explanation and a beautiful Geschenke gift giving to humanity, that story. So thank you, Andreas. It was beautiful to hear. Thank you for your presence. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you, my dear Dean. I will say that in the path of peace, the souls are coming with beauty and totality. And the marriage is going on. All are invited. There is no enemy. And spreading the rose petals in the path where the peaceful people are coming. It's so beauty. Give us, as Moksha said, so much satisfaction that has never been before. So this is the beauty. And Andreas, I was talking to you and my microphone was muted by me, but I was talking to you always. So here is that we all love you and we are family. Even in this situation, the storms are coming and now we can see the storm and they are going away like that, and the beauty is coming up clear and clarified. So even in this storm, I also experienced that. When I experienced, I was spreading rose petals and welcoming to the marriage party, the peaceful people, the good people, the souls. In this physicality, I experienced that there's so much beauty, and even there is a discussion or debate is going on. I am in peace, like that, and even I don't need food, and I was so energetic. So then ever, forever, So this is the experience, my dear. And we are experiencing all that is. More to share, more to share. This is the beginning. More to share, that is always. And here is to bring the needs and wishes from your community to the Universal Council as one planet, one nation, one race for justice and world peace. Welcome, my beautiful souls. If you want to share anything, say anything, or do talk, unmute yourself. Thank you. My dear Rick, is there anything anybody wants to share or any question?
Jefferson says in the YouTube, thank you, Andreas, for sharing your feelings and services with us. We elevate your souls. Take what you need. You're not alone.
Thank you, my dear Jefferson. You're always so good, so kind. Thank you.
And we have a hand up here with Salamia as well.
Hi, Rick. Hi, Sveta. And all
hello
friends, Andreas, Dean, and other friends from Universal Council. I have a wish for an entire planet. These days, together, to form the star formation and send from the bottom of our heart and of our soul of man enough light and love in order to get this dome of peace, this vortex of peace necessary to balance the Western and Eastern world. Thank you very much. This is my wish, continue, but especially now with all these events. Thank you, because you'll do this now, and starting from now till we will reach this state of permanent, sustainable peace inside our body and outside of our body. As below, how is outside is a reflection of our inside. So we can help only in this way to get peace in ourselves and to reflect, expand this field, these lines of the fields at the entire planet and even in our galaxy. We need this so much. Thank you, Rick. Thank you, Sveta. Thank you, Andreas.
We are present, my dear, in your wish. Beautiful
Thank you.
wish. Thank you.
Bye.
Any other?
But may I just quickly say something? So it's Dean here
Yes.
again. May I just quickly say that, so bring the needs. So each of the, everybody listening, you all have needs in these moments, in this precise moment. Bring your needs and your wishes. What do you wish for? How would you like to serve and give to, you know, to yourself, to your family of mankind, to your community, from your community? So when we start serving in the community and we start giving the best we can, we establish that connection and a field strength where we're starting to elevate the souls. We're all giving and sharing energies, that transfer. We're transmuting the space gap between us, and we are giving energies to one another with love and care, with attention, and with just being present with each other. And so to bring your needs, you can send this need with a thought. Your needs, and if that need is in service to another, then this is going to amplify, create a field, that peace dome, that is going to bring this this condition into not only into balance, but into a position where it will start to show itself physically, because you're creating that field strength. And so the wishes, this is what the Universal Council does. We make wishes to give unconditionally and for mankind to receive the elevation, and not just mankind, it's all creatures created, because there are countless trillions and billions of other creatures that are within our environments and our ecosystems, and some of them seen and unseen, but they're all present, they're all souls. And so they all have needs and they all have wishes. And you can tap into this with your thoughts and your intentions. And when you start serving like that and you start giving, and you can do this in any moment you feel like it. You could be in wherever you are. You could be at work, you could be at home, you could be swimming, you could be on top of a mountain, you could be walking, you could be however that, you know, whatever you are doing in that moment, you could send the energy to another. We could send the energy, bring the needs. So in the moment, we know that there are many suffering in particular areas that have been hit by an earthquake. So then those souls have a need of energy. So we can send them some energy, and we can send them wishes to bring them a process of whatever it is that they require to bring their needs into balance and to give them the energy flow that they require. And that's just one instance. There are many, many other instances. There's many people all around the world and many other creatures in all sorts of places and positions in physicality that require energy in these moments. And remember, we can connect on a soul level. So we can give this need and wish to any being anywhere, contained within ourselves. So we all have cells within our body. So we could give that need and wish to the cell in our body. We could give that need and wish to a bigger cell that could be the cell of, let's say, the planet. And we could give that bigger wish to the cell of, let's say, the universe. It's all the same, the process from micro to macro, whether you go one way or the other, into yourself, into your inner peace, or you send it out to the outer worlds, the outer realms, however you want to describe it. So the needs and wishes from your community, the community within inside yourself and the community outside of yourself, bring it all into balance. And it's just, as we say, a need and a wish. And you have this beauty within you. It's called a soul that will connect, as we've experienced today. All the souls have spoken, and the field application, the strength of the souls that understand this are uniting and are becoming stronger and stronger in these moments, if that's the right words. But the connection is there, and that this soul feeding is the very aspect of all of us. It is that the soul of the family, and the family can be in any shape, time, place, and position that you choose. But as long as you're sharing and giving and bringing the needs and wishes, then you can contact and elevate and bring about this condition of beauty in this precise moment. Thank you all. Thank you, Sweta.
Thank you, my dear Dean, for your beautiful words. So much kindness. Thank you. Can we now, as the time is time for wrap up, we can go to the next slide. And then we are all here to serve, not to be served. We are all universal soul, the universal council. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Keshe Foundation, Spaceship Institute, the space of love. Well, I will say, here I am. So thank you and welcome, Suswagatam. So salam, namaste, salute. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sweta, and thank you, Dean, and thank you to all the members of the Universal Council here today. And that brings to a close our 262nd One Nation, One Planet, One Race for World Peace and Justice here on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. Great show. Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Our next public teaching workshop is the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group. And that starts on Wednesday, February 22nd at 7 a.m. Central European Time. And people are welcome if you're new to the plasma technology, or if you're an old timer with some tech questions, all are welcome in that environment. And of course, we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up on Thursday, February 23rd, and at the regular time of 9 a.m. Okay, I think that's all for now.
But there is a need, gentlemen. There is a need to dance.
A need to dance.
All of this needs this session of dance.
I need to dance spaces.
Clap, clap, and dance. Thank you.
That means we're going to end up our finale with the Flight Enhancement Spaceship Unit music version. And again, thank you everybody for attending today. See you in the next public teaching workshop. Bye, everyone.